Hey everyone, it's Aisha White. Are you only hearing negatives? So today I want to talk to you about the idea of receiving criticism or critiques and also giving critiques to others. So often when that occurs, we can tend to only hear the negative comments when we're receiving critiques. So if that's a creative project that you're working on and you're getting input from others, if it's a professional project that you're working on at your job, just in life, you're hearing criticisms from your parents, from your friends, from your partner, just the people around you. Even on the internet, you're getting criticism from people on the internet also, if you have some sort of internet presence, between social media and YouTube and all those things. And so how do you handle that? Most people don't respond to criticism well. Usually it's seen as something negative, but we also know that it can be constructive criticism. And it's just about how you take the information in and what you do with it. It's going to be up to you. Whether or not that information ends up being something that helps you is dependent upon what you do with it. So I think a couple of important points to keep in mind are the setting in which this criticism is occurring. Are you at work? Because the way that you respond to criticism at work is going to be different than a criticism that you receive from maybe your spouse while you're at home sitting on the couch. Who is delivering the message? So who's the messenger? Once again, if it's your boss who's giving you this criticism, you're more inclined to listen and to take heed of what they're saying, versus a spouse where you may feel as though like, oh, well, you just don't understand. You don't understand where I'm coming from, and this is why you're delivering this criticism. Or if it's a friend, you might brush it off or think, oh, they're just joking around. Or, in other settings where you're more inclined to kind of dismiss what's being said just because you don't necessarily believe that the point is valid. What is the message? What is being said? So often the message gets diluted by our own thoughts, right? So if we're getting a criticism and someone's like, you could have done this better or you could have done this differently, we're hearing it's not good enough. They don't like it, and our mind is telling us all these things. And so we're like weeding through the positives, weeding through the actionable items that we could take away from that, and we're like zeroing in on the negative things that the words are kind of enveloped in. And it's important to just stop for a second and realize what's at the root of the message, what's at the root of the criticism or critique that we're receiving. And then finally, what can you do about it? What is your solution at the end of the day? How will you take this criticism and make it into something positive? Those are some key points to keep in mind: the setting, the messenger, the message, and whatever your solution will be. What will you choose to do with the information that you receive? I encourage you to just listen. At the most basic level, listen, because you may consider yourself one of the most self-aware people ever, but there are blind spots. There are habits that we might have. There are all kinds of honestly, flaws that we have as human beings. And there's room for error when it comes to the work we create, when it comes to whatever our creative endeavors are. Everything is not going to be gold. Everything is not going to be 100% good. Sometimes you're going to create things that suck. And rather than somebody telling you this sucks, they may offer it up in a different manner, in a more tactful way. But at the end of the day, the hope is that you are able to key in on the important points and be able to lift those out of the conversation and go, okay, this is what I could do differently. And so the goal is to be able to listen, to take from that criticism important points, and then apply it to your future endeavors. So if you deliver something to your boss and overall they are satisfied with it, but they have feedback for you, which is generally the case for most things. Like when we go to school, we're kind of prepped for that kind of thing. Our papers are graded, and at least if they are, trying to do good by you, the instructor is going to give you feedback, let you know what you could have done differently, let you know what your errors are. And I always preferred that system of grading anyway in school, where sometimes even like you grade your own papers, and they would give you the answer, but they would explain why that is the answer. Because if it does you no good if you're like going down the line and I don't know, it's multiple choice and they just give you the answers, but you don't know how you arrived at that. And so I was always just like at a loss when we were given the answer without explanation. And as I got older throughout school too, I came across different instructors that would, when I would write a paper, and it should be it's based upon the structure and a specific topic that you are focusing in on, and I would get like an A+, which of course is like, yay, of course, it's great for my GPA, but for the sake of receiving feedback and knowing where I stand and how much talent I have and what my skills are, once again, it does me no good if I don't get any feedback. Feedback is essential. We need to receive feedback in some form. So don't see it as a negative. Usually it's someone trying to help you. And this topic was kind of touched on a little bit actually with, there's another interview that I did with a YouTuber named Frank James. So you can go check that video out after you finish this one. And we're talking about his creative process, how he motivates other people, and we touch on that idea of getting negative comments on his YouTube videos and how he tries to take that as constructive criticism and turn it into something positive. So it's actually a really good point he makes about that. But yeah, and so when you have an instructor who doesn't give you any feedback, it's actually really detrimental to you. And so you should be grateful when someone else is giving you feedback. When someone is honest enough and courageous enough to say to you, hey, these are the things you could do differently. I know I encounter it so much in just my professional life because I've held roles where I write and doing content marketing. And one of my early jobs, I had a supervisor who would, take red lines, kind of like the red ink, but it wasn't physical paper, it was, digital, so it was the comments in Microsoft Word, and I would have red lines through so much of my writing, and the first time seeing it, it kind of freaks you out. I'm like, oh my gosh, they eviscerated me, but they assured me like, hey, I just am somebody who has a lot of feedback. It doesn't mean that this is bad. And they even expressed that they enjoy reading my writing, which felt really, really great because this person was an experienced writer. And for them to be like, hey, I enjoyed reading this article, and some of these articles that I wrote were not particularly interesting topics, but that I was writing about, but for that person to be able to actually enjoy reading it, it meant a lot to me. And over the course of time, of course, the red lines reduced. I became a stronger writer, but that was largely due in part to the fact that I was given feedback. If that person had let me just go on in this kind of phase that I was in, then I would have never grown. So receiving criticism is not a bad thing. It can help you grow. It's up to you to take in that information and turn it into something positive. Apply it to your life in whatever way you can, and see the growth over time that occurs. So don't only see the negative. Only seeing the negative gets you nowhere. you'll be stuck in your ways and you won't experience personal growth that way. And like, who wants that? If you're not able to take in information from other people, then people recognize that. And instead of being courageous enough to be honest with you, people will kind of coddle you sometimes or sugarcoat things because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They want to avoid hurting your feelings or avoid some sort of combative conversation, and so they'll give you only part of the truth, or they won't bother at all. And then, down the line, you're given this huge task, you mess it up. And you're looking around like, why didn't anybody tell me? Why didn't anyone let me know that I wasn't performing at the best? And it's like, well, history shows that you get upset when you get feedback. You only see the negative. Listen to the criticism, take it in, identify the useful information. Because granted, all criticism is not valuable. You have to be able to shake that baseless criticism. If someone's like, something just hurtful, something that's like not based in truth, then of course dismiss that and do not take that in. And I know that's easier said than done too, because I don't know, if I'm filming this video and someone's like, you're ugly, that will sting. But it's up to me to dismiss that and go, that's not the truth, and move on, versus someone who says, well, this could have been explained in more detail, and I'm like, it still stings to know that, hey, I didn't elaborate on this in the way that I should have, but now I have that note in my mind, okay, for next time, I'll elaborate on that topic more so that it can be of use to other people, because ultimately, my goal is to deliver a message myself and to have it connect with people. And if I'm not doing that effectively, then I haven't really reached my goal, have I? So feedback is good. Comments are good. I look forward to your comments. Be gentle. Be gentle. I look forward to your comments. I hope that this was encouraging in some sort of way, that it persuades you to open up your ears, listen, don't take things so personally, don't get defensive, but key in on those important points of someone's criticism and be willing to apply those actions to your life in order to create a better end product, to have a better outcome in whatever your endeavors are, and in life in general. Because it's all about growth, and it's all about effectively communicating. Effective communication goes both ways, so it's not only what you're saying, but also what you're hearing, what you're taking in, and how you react to that. And so, at the end of the day, communication is at the core of everything we do. We want to become better communicators. I want to communicate with you every week by uploading these videos. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel, and then go check out some of my other videos that are in my playlist, whether it's just me solo giving tips and advice, or if it's me interviewing with other super intelligent, super talented people. I'm excited. I have an upcoming interview that will premiere the week following the week that this video goes up. So, week after this one. I'm excited. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Have a great week. Bye.